on the importance of radio and the U.S.'s government support uh, to 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 radio to the media uh, landscape in Liberia. 99.9. This is the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio.
Have I told you? Have I shown you what I'm feeling?
99.9. You're listening to the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. Like I said, this morning we will briefly speak with the United States Embassy Shashi Affairs, Madam Catherine Rodriguez. She's on the line because today is World Radio Day. Madam Rodriguez, good morning and welcome to the show this morning.
Good morning, Barclay. Good morning, all listeners. Happy to be on the radio with you all today and to celebrate World Radio Day.
Happy World Radio Day to you.
All right. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to your listeners about the importance of radio and the journalists, station managers, and owners who make sure that the Liberian population has access to news. The theme of this year's World Radio Day is a century informing, entertaining, and educating. Today we celebrate not just a medium of communication, but a cornerstone of democracy and free speech. With its profound history, radio continues to play a pivotal role in Liberia, informing Liberians and providing a platform for diverse voices. In addition to the free exchange of ideas, we recognize radio's invaluable contribution to democracy. More Liberians relied on radio for updates during last year's general and presidential elections than any other form of communication. Radio serves as a beacon of information, reaching the farthest corners of the country, ensuring that even the most remote communities have access to important news and various perspectives. Understanding the significance of radio in shaping democratic societies, the U.S. Embassy is proud to contribute to this legacy through our media mentorship program and through the U.S. Agency of International Development's support of community radio stations through its partnership with Internews. Through these programs, we are also providing training and exchange opportunities for journalists, conduct community media forums, and enhance the capacity of community radio stations. Moreover, our media programs aim to equip up-and-coming journalists, including those on the radio, with the knowledge and skills in ethical journalism, fact-checking, and unbiased reporting. This ensures that the principles of free speech are upheld and protected. As we celebrate World Radio Day, let us recommit to supporting free speech and democracy through the power of radio. Let us continue to champion the voices that radio brings to the forefront, the stories that inspire change, and the conversations that foster democracy. Liberian people, Yale de Radio, thank you too. Varvley, thank you again for this opportunity to speak to your listeners, and I hope you have a fabulous day.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you this morning. Thank you for the message. Very powerful indeed.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and
thank you. Thank you.
I hope your listeners are continue to listen to the radio.
Thank you very much. Well, she's Madam Catherine Rodriguez there releasing that special statement commemorating World Radio Day today. Madam Catherine Rodriguez is the U.S. Embassy Shashi Affairs there speaking uh, on the Super Morning Show, releasing that special statement on the importance of radio. Yes, indeed, radio remains the effective traditional means through which librarians get information and entertainment. So it's just important that we sanitize and preserve this space so that we don't exploit the opportunity that we have that radio offers to rebuild, to reconstruct, to promote peace and unity, harmony, and try to live in a society where, despite our political, our traditional, our tribal, our background differences, we can still we can still come around the table and dialogue. And so this is why sometimes when I see things happening, how people become very sentimental and become very personal, then I tend to wonder what's happening with our society. And I think we need serious discussion and dialogue surrounding the space that we have. We cannot you know we cannot spoil every space. We have to leave certain spaces sanitized. We have to preserve our space, the mediums through which we reconcile our differences. But if we overuse the radio, if we exploit the radio, for example, it means that we're trying to get rid of every opportunity that we have to unite this country. All right, every space that we have to unite this country. So it's just important on this World Radio Day. And as much as we, journalists, broadcast journalists, are the direct users of radio, you listeners as well. Many of you call on the radio. Many of you put your points through the radio. But the way you do that with respect, the way you do that, the more we preserve this space. So I hope as we celebrate the World Radio Day every year, let's continue to have the debate. If you think that you've been impacted by radio, I don't think there should be any reason why you should dilute this space through hate, fake news, misinformation, disinformation. And sometimes people call on the radio. Like I said, radio is instant. I open the line right now. You call, what you say is gone. It's gone. Before I cut you off, it's gone. It's gone. So who you listen to has impact on you. So the information you give out there has impact on the people listening to you. So we have to be very careful how we use the radio. We have a society to protect. We have a society to protect. We have a tradition. We have a culture. We have cultural norms to protect. So let's use the radio wisely. And I hope those in Tottenham, Bowman County, organizing this special occasion will have the debate and discussion surrounding the future of radio in Liberia. The future of radio. Radio should be used to educate. Radio should be used to enlighten. The enlightened mind. Radio should be used to do that. Radio should be used to reconcile, to entertain, to educate. So we should preserve this space. Radio is one of the few assets, national assets that we have to portray patriotism, nationalism. It's one of the few assets that we have. When you have so many natural resources, like for example, we have Orogizi now. We say, well, okay, we preserve this one because we believe that our national development is also hinging on this mountain. So let's not exploit it. Let's not misuse it. So radio should be one of those national assets where we try to protect with our We should not use. Sometimes I listen to people on the radio trying to incite violence, instill violence in the population, uh, spew out misinformation, hate messages for some political reason, which is very bad for our society. Which is very bad for our society. So I hope as we celebrate World Radio Day today, like the US envoy says, we should be able to protect the space and ensure that genuine development, reconciliation, and reconstruction, they are all channeled through radio, through the opportunity that we have because of radio. This is the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. I will be speaking with Madam Loretta Popkai. Madam Loretta Popkai is the head of the is the head of the National Civil Society Council right here. So let's try to connect with Madam Loretta Popkai and be right back.
Feels like heaven, heaven surrounds me. Every time you wrap your arms around me, and there's nothing I can say you'll ever do to deserve the love of a woman like you. When you're with me, when you kiss me, when you tell me how much you miss me, every moment we're together brings us closer, closer to forever. And there's nothing I can say or ever do to deserve the love of a woman like you. Woman like you.
This is the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio.
I told you, have I shown you how feeling when I hold you? It feels like heaven surrounds me every time you.
99.9, you're listening to the Super Morning Show. We have on the line Madam Loretta Popkai. She's the head of the National Civil Society Council. Good morning.
Good morning, Pastor. Thank you for having me.
Great. We understand that the Civil Society Council released a statement regarding yesterday's incident with the widespread soldiers' wives protests. Just tell us about from the council's perspective. What is it that does this statement say?
Thank you again, Vable. I want to appreciate you calling me to understand civil society perspective of the issue. Before yesterday, 2 days ago, we came up with a statement when it all started, when the president appointed retired General Quincy Johnson III as defense minister. The wives of the AFL wives came out to tell the president that he should disregard the appointment of retired General Quincy Johnson, and they were claiming on grounds that the former army chief misappropriated the AFL funds and they were neglected of their welfare and AFL personnel. So before the confirmation of retired General Quincy Johnson, the AFL wives called the president to do the right thing, and they never had interest in that nomination. But on the other hand, the council also said that we support protests as part of the principles of democracy. But we also believe, and we stated in our statement, that the protest should have had limited focus on retired General Prince Charles Johnson III. Yes, we agree that they had some serious allegations, but we stated that it was within a system. So the CSO Council issued a statement about the army welfare, and it is not just about Prince T. Johnson. We said that there is a systematic issue, and our statement was calling on the president to see it as a matter of urgency, to probe more into the situation, to investigate those claims of the Airville wives. So the statement called for a peaceful resolution, a peaceful dialogue. But yet instead, the Airville wives did not listen. And when we called on the president to see the matter of urgency from the very beginning when he did his appointment, because I can remember the Airville wives approached the Senate committee, and the Senate committee assured them of getting back to them before the confirmation, and that did not happen. So we also see in our statement, we see the protest, even though it was a good action, but we also see that it also infringe on the rights of others, the rights of movement. You know, where your rights stop is where other rights begin. We have people who not commute on that day, and since Saturday to Monday morning, the Airville wives have sustained their protests in different areas, blocking major roads. We have people missing their flights, market women complaining of not going to market. So there were different things. So you don't have to infringe on other rights, to state your issue. But again, I said from the beginning, we support protest as part of the democratic process. But however, that protest should not have infringed on others' rights. And if you look at the statement also, the statement, we also said that yesterday's statement, we said in our statement, because from the different action, the consistent protest of the Airville wives, it led to the resignation of the defense minister, retired General Prince Charles Johnson III. And in our statement yesterday, we said that we see, his resignation as a new precedent set by him in a democratic space, of Liberia. But there again, I also stated that I don't think it was the right thing to do. But if you look at his statement again, he said in his letter, he stated clearly that, he's stepping down for the common good of the country and the institution he has served for the past 18 years. So he said that to restore peace. But however, we still think, and we see that we said in our statement, the action of the Airville wives should be seen as a threat to national security. We know that the president spoke yesterday, but we do believe that his statement wasn't strong enough. It wasn't strong enough. From the beginning, he should have taken leadership from the very beginning before the confirmation of
in terms of what? In terms of what? Rescinding the decision for appointment?
No, not that. He should have set up. He should have established an investigation committee, because it all started when he appointed a retired General Prince T. Johnson as Minister of Defense. The army wives clearly said, we don't need this man. So it should have come to his attention immediately to establish an investigation team.
Okay.
But however, yesterday, he in his statement, he said that he has established an investigation committee. And this morning, I want to say that it's just not enough to establish that investigation committee. We want to look beyond that investigation committee. And we want to know the composition of that investigation committee. We want to see the TOR of that investigation committee, it should be published. And we also want to call on the president if he was not thinking about including civil society to be a part of that committee. He should, revert to that decision and include civil society, because there is a threat to national security, and civil society as a key stakeholder, in the democratic process. We look forward to being a part of that committee.
Madam Popka, how concerning it is for the Civil Society Council, given yesterday's action and the fragility, peace and security. I mean, today it is the army wives. Tomorrow could be the volunteer teachers or the health workers. You think a precedent has been set here?
But the thing is, I'm saying that the action from the elder wives has a threat to national security. And I said, I think the precedent for establishing this committee to investigate those allegations, because they are grave allegations. But the investigation, I do believe, will step out their true identities, because we know that rumors around that those that are protesting are not just elder wives. So we look forward to the investigation. Okay. And I said that the investigation is going to set out their true identity, and it will also send out a caveat that if the investigation shows that people who are not to be part of the protest, if they were there, they should be prosecuted by the weight of the law. And this will serve as a deterrent for those wishing to take similar action. So I'm clearly saying that, establishing a committee is good. For civil society, we are interested in the composition of that committee.
Okay.
Right? Who are the members of the committee? It's not secret. We have observed over the years that the past president set up committee, and up to now we are still calling for that investigation report. So you should not trend on the same path, right? You should not trend on the same path. We need to have a full disclosure of the committee. We need to see the POR of the committee, and we need to involve civil society, because it is a national threat.
Okay.
Civil society, we have played a pivotal role to ensure that we have a peaceful transition, to ensure that we have peace in Liberia, and we are helping to ensure that peace is obtained in Liberia. So as we have played a very important role, we want to ensure that we continue to play that important role.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Popkai. Oh, it seems we've lost her. But that was the head of the National Civil Society Council, Madam Loretta Popkai, on the line there. The council released a statement regarding the incident yesterday, and they're calling for the council to be included into the composition of the special investigative committee set up by His Excellency President Joseph Yoman Boakai. As a matter of fact, we will be having the presidential press secretary, Madam Kulak Fofana, at 9 o'clock this morning on the Super Morning Show. You're listening to the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. Yeah, but for me, I want to focus on the positives. I want to focus on the positives. Yesterday, we follow Western democracies. We follow Western democracy. What happens in the West was a semblance of what happened in the West was displayed yesterday. People say the former defense minister was pressured to resign. For me, I don't see it that way. It is not a discussion of pressure or forced, or because if you listen to the president, he said it was at the own volition of the defense minister. Now, in civilized democracies like the United States, like in Europe, when when something is mentioned on your news, say for example, the former Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, just breached a COVID-19 protocol. He resigned. He resigned just for that. You know, it is a tenet of democracy. Even people resign when it is leveled against you, when it is on your name. People don't resign because they've been pressured, or to be pressured is to resist. Is to resist that you're not leaving. And we didn't see that from the former defense minister. To be forced, to be pressured. In the first place, to be pressured is to resist that you've come publicly and say, I'm not leaving. I've done nothing wrong. I'm not leaving. I'm not stepping down. But the former defense minister didn't say that. They didn't do that. It was because he's a Democrat. And that's what Democrats do. Once it is leveled against you, pending investigation and the outcome of the investigation, and guilty, not guilty, you first of all resign. You resign, and the investigation continues, and posterity will judge you. You know, posterity. People have been victims of false allegations. People have been victims of miscarriage of justice. There are a barrage of cases where people have been victims of miscarriage of justice. They take you, they lock you up in jail. You spend some now 25 years there. At the end of the investigation, you're not guilty. These things happen. I think this is a precedent. This is a precedent for other officials, public officials to follow. Once something is leveled against you, you resign. You resign. You're not forced. You're not resisting. But as a Democrat, as far as I know, President Joseph Boakai still had confidence. He still had confidence in retired General Prince C. Johnson. That was the man he chose to administratively steer the affairs of the national defense. So it's not a report of pressure. It's not a report of force. You know, he's a respecter of democratic tenets. He's a practitioner of democratic tenets. So we shouldn't make monster. We shouldn't make a dictator out of these kinds of situations. Because at the end of the day, another person will say, I will not resign. I will resist it. I'll resist it. Especially when you have the full support of the person that put you there. You know, so we should be very careful. Because these are things where, you know, when these are things when they happen, we misinterpret, we make a monster out of it, we make a dictatorship out of it. The next public official will not resign. They will not resign. They will stay on. They will remain there. We saw that. You know, but yesterday's action by retired General Prince Johnson was exemplary, and that is exactly what a Democrat does. So we should be able to embrace and laud him for that. But Madam Kula Fofana will be here, the presidential press secretary, to expand more and make sense of the president's address to the nation last evening. We have so many, like, you know, the head of the civil society says there are more questions to ask. You know, who is the investigator? What's the name of the investigator? You know, and all that. Are we sure that these people who were protesting are the wives? Were they infiltrated? You know, were they women purporting to be wives of army people? All these questions. This is a serious national security issue. You know, because we didn't see any semblance. Anybody can wear a ring and go and protest in the name of I'm a wife. The group, the amount of people that we saw in the streets, it was a web of protest from Banga to Vonjema, from Vonjema to Zreju to Magibi, Monserrato, all over the place, protest in numbers. Some of these army people, they are single. Let's be fair. They are single. They don't have wives. They don't have wives, and we know to be the wife have entitlement. The law, yeah, they honor legal protection to vent their grievances on behalf of their husbands because they are civilians. But how sure are we that some of these people were actually army wives? We know how people behave here. For some political reason, they infiltrate sincere groupings, sincere undertakings. We know that. So let's be very careful how we deal with these kinds of sensitive issues. And we should be here lauding retired General Prince Johnson for being a practitioner of democracy, democratic tenets, instead of bullying him and saying that he's a weakling, buying to pressure and all that. We should be healing him. Some people they will resist. They will resist. Especially when the power that be has the confidence in you. So I just thought that we make sense of that and understand and put some things into check, into perspective. People taking advantage of situations and exploit, situation. And we're talking about security here. We can't be sentimental. Everything in Liberia now, the country is so polarized. Everything is sentimental. People, people, yeah. People doing their own thing. People interpreting their own way. People interpreting their own way. So we have to be careful. This is a national security issue. People will interpret it as a failed coup attempt. You have a web of protests, women coming in their numbers. We should be asking them now, where your marriage certificate? Then let's because skeptics will ask, where's your marriage certificate? You protesting, you army wife, where's your marriage certificate? We saw pictures of people with beer bottles in their hands protesting. If you're protesting for a genuine cause, is there a place there to have beer? You drinking beer? Yeah. For a genuine cause, you really want to be sincere, you go protest. Because you personalize the protest. You say you don't want this man. You relegated the welfare issue and elevated individual. So we have to be very careful and be very sincere with ourselves. There's a new administration. I know people zest. The zest is there, criticism people. Now, and I think the government will have to be very sensitive to this. There is this tendency in our society where with the opposition, you that oppose, you have attraction. You have this attraction from the public. You have this public attraction. You that oppose, you that empower, people don't really, you don't have that attraction as the person in opposition. So the United Party was in opposition. They had the attraction because they were making use of some of the, according to them, failings of the past administration. They were taking advantage of that. People call it propaganda, expanding, exaggerating some of the things. According to the CDC right now in opposition, you had the attraction from the public. You have this public sentiments. Now you empower the public sentiments based on how you manage it will turn against you. So you have to be sensitive to this. It's always the case, especially in the politically charged urban areas, the counties like Monserrato and all that. You that are in opposition, oppose and critical, or criticizing and saying all the things against the government of the day, you get more attention. You get more attention than the government in power. But it takes genuine effort so that the population can understand that you're making effort. 9 o'clock, we host Presidential Press Secretary Madam Kula Fofana to talk more about the president's address last evening. This is the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio with me, Vafle Kamara.
Oh Lord, it's where I want to be. There shall be no more driving there. Shall be no more weeping there. There shall be no more sickness there. Oh Lord, it's where I want to be. There'll be peace in the city. There will be joy. There'll be joy in the city. I want to be there. I want to be together. The New Jerusalem. Oh, there'll be peace in the city. So much joy. There'll be joy in the city. I want to be there. I want to be in the city. The New Jerusalem. And I'm not level believing. I'm too far to turn around. I want to be in that city to promise me. Where some people don't have to shine. The glory comes through every life. And there should be no darkness there. I don't want to be out when you shout that door. From New Jerusalem. There'll be peace in the city. So much joy. I don't have to cry anymore. I want to be there, Lord. New Jerusalem. Oh, there'll be peace in the city. I've seen so much joy. I want to be there. I want to be in the city. The New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem. In the city, oh Lord, I will be there. Show me love, wanna be with me. I don't wanna be left. Tell me how long. In the city, no more time. In the city,